Hi, my name is Tamekia Broughton. I'm the Food Science Program Coordinator at Delaware Technical Community College at the Owens campus. And what I was trying to accomplish here was to remove a barrier with some technology when we went into COVID. So when the pandemic started, I was teaching a course called FSY 120, and it's very hands-on. It is full of labs and very little lecture. So how would I bring that to life in a virtual environment? So I created an escape room. So one of our final labs, they have to design a ice cream, and they didn't have access to the products and things that would normally be available to them in our food science kitchen. So here they have a little bit of reading to do ahead of time before they go into the room. And there's 4 rooms. And what I used in the first room was a Thinglink. So what I liked about Thinglink, since we were learning this virtually, I kind of mimicked their a kitchen. So it just was able to go through, and here they would have to find their lab supplies, and once they found their lab supplies, it would give them a letter. So with that letter, they would have to do an unscramble, and in that unscramble, they would have to really write down everything that they would see in that kitchen. And here's like a little hand washing station, so it's not a lab supply, but please wash your hands. So they would go through this and they would do the unscramble. And once they got in the unscramble word, they would enter the code. And when they entered the code, it would take them to the next room. And the ingredient room, at this one, they had to put like a drag and drop, and they would put their ingredients in order. So if they were doing their labs, they would look and see what materials they would need and how they would use it and what order they would put that in. And in our third room, we used a regulatory compliance room. We used here was a Google slide. So I didn't just use one aspect of just like a Thinglink or anything. I used layers of technology here. So they would have to go back and read what was in that module, some of that introductory level information to figure out what these codes were for. So it would give them the question, and then they would have to choose what federal regulation that it would apply to. And then in the final room, we used an Edpuzzle. And in Edpuzzle, they're actually getting to see me making the ice cream. And I did ice cream in a bag. And if they don't have a machine or anything at home, they're not capable of having that at home. And then they would see the video for me to design this ice cream. They can answer these questions here, and the video would stop, and they would have to answer the question that was presented into that video, so in that Edpuzzle. So I just used a couple of different things so it wouldn't get monotonous or anything like that. And then once they get through the room, they would get a badge at the end. So with that video, they can see me do everything, and they can mimic it at home if they choose to. Most of the students typically do them at home because they really like the ice cream in a Ziploc bag. So I don't know why, it's pretty cool, but they don't need to actually have equipment to do it, and they find it to be pretty fun. So those are my 4 technologies that I have used to get this into a virtual environment, and the students have been very creative with their ice cream projects to do it at home, and they could find things around their home that they could still create a product and earn their lab grade. Thank you for watching.